stands today, if you look at how many companies are coming across, and some of the things is what I have listed here. For example, I've spoken about how maybe Apple has taken an initiative to vaccinate their employees at their workplace. Mahindra and Mahindra, which is again a big giant, has paid for the vaccination of their employees. There is Amazon with its $800 million investment into COVID safety measures. There is Borosil, who's again doing a lot of benevolent things for the families of people who have, passed on due to COVID. Volkswagen has got literally like 100 points plan. Workday, Britannia. Well, I could go on and on about this particular list. Now, why am I talking about this? The reason why I'm talking about is I hope you understand what's the buzz that's going on around you. Pre 2020, if you were to look at the conversations of all these brands that I spoke about and many more, the conversation would probably a lot about top line, bottom line, or okay, am I a market leader, or what can I do to be a market leader? And it would be in the breadth of cutthroat innovation or cutthroat competition. Whereas now, thanks to the pandemic, I think the whole outlook has shifted where apart from the technological transition, that's a big one, right? Most of the companies have ended up investing heavily into technology so that their business as usual operations can continue as seamlessly as possible. Of course, as a result of that, a lot of empathy based conversations have started. Maybe if you guys have been in on the leadership scene or you're following certain articles, you know that the first buzzword these days with regards to leadership is empathy. Because is there any other way? Can I really work with my huge diverse workforce, or can I work with my family who's literally in my room breathing down my neck if I were to not practice empathy? So empathy is like clearly something to look out for and something to really follow when I'm dealing with anybody. And last but not the least, if I were to talk about leaders in a workplace context, organizational context, of course, there's a lot of focus on employees' overall mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Very different from organizing birthday cakes, right? Very different from organizing large conferences or outbounds, because everybody is trying to do the best that they can do. So on that note, today if we were to talk about leadership, then I would say they are three pronged. So if I can go to the next slide, this is how the leadership mantra looks as of today. Three pertinent, three very critical, three important, three do or die, three survival mantras that most leaders are following today are these three. Number one, how do I really take care of my talent? Of course, yes. If I'm not able to take care of my talent, then what do I produce and how do I take care of the people who will consume those products, which is my customers? So the other thing is, of course, how do I engage with my customers? What kind of conversation do I have with my customers? But then, if you really notice, the bigger shift that has happened is how do I really contribute to the community? So, talking about principles, talking about leadership, or even as an individual, if you really want to look at it, imagine, like, let's say, there is so much of news, there is so much of noise, there is so much of data. There are so many things that are happening around the world. But let's say today my family member were to undergo something, then my only concern is, will I be able to arrange that oxygen bed? Will I be able to arrange the right kind of hospital? Now, in that case, all the news in the world is not what's going to help us. But one thing that's clearly going to help us, and in fact, it has helped me help others as well, is the whole sense of community. So whether it is, am I like a part of a school group, or am I part of a community group, a Toastmaster group? It doesn't matter. A leadership group, a CEO group, entrepreneur group. It really doesn't matter. The power of the community has never ever been felt like today, because today I can just reach out to that community, and get that right information at the right time to rise above the voice. So this is the new mantra of leadership. Here's what I'd like to share with all of you. Moving on, I'd rather, rather than say to you as to what could be the leadership principles, I want to really leave you with exploratory questions. I want you to really pay close attention to these questions, because when you ask yourself these, Somewhere in them is where I believe the answers are. For example, what are you most curious about today? Or what new skill or strategy? What is the new learning? What is the new association that you can build today, which can take your team, your company, your community, and yourself ahead? Don't get me wrong. Today, if there is a leader or if there is an organization which is over talking the business angle, which is over talking the numbers, then they are definitely not going to be considered great employers in the long run because of the empathy quotient not being there. So what are you curious about? So am I curious about well-being? Am I curious about us collectively passing on this phase? Then yes, maybe I'm slowly beginning to get the pulse to the first principle. Am I having the right kind of curiosity? The second thing is, can I follow it through with action and test through experience? Today, most of the people are forced to take decisions day in, day out, and they have no clue whether it's going to work in the long run or whether it is going to work in the good way or not. You see so many youngsters literally becoming overnight call centers. You see so many youngsters or other tech people overnight designing apps which can help people overcome the pandemic in some way or the other. Whatever happens tomorrow, the fact is, today, most of us, even in the situation of crisis, if we do our best to try something new, follow it through action, and test it with experience, we will definitely be wiser for tomorrow. Wouldn't all of us like that? So, wouldn't that be a great principle to imbibe? The third thing is, how are we showing up in our world? Whether it's as a leader or whether it's as an individual family member, how am I showing up today is extremely critical. You all know this. I mean, I'm sure many of you have experienced this, whether it's birthdays, whether it's weddings, whether it is, and I'm sorry to say this, whether it is funerals. We are all used to attending that, all of that online. Now, could we even have imagine how we were pre 2020? We were having travel plans. We were having we. It's like life literally shifted. Trust me, sometimes I feel like okay, is this how alien world also looks, where everybody's confined to one place and glued to a screen? Has its huge advantages though. But yeah, the third thing is, am I showing up in my world, or how am I showing up in my world? Although there could be a lot of bad things happening around, am I showing up in the best way possible, or am I contributing to the negative vibe? In fact, Pooja also spoke about this. The whole world is, and I sincerely agree, is about vibrations. So when I'm showing up, is somebody being insecure because of me, or is somebody feeling hope because of me? Is somebody feeling happy because I have spoken to them, or is somebody feeling sad and dejected and going deeper down in a hellhole? So how I'm showing up is a third principle that I would really love to consider. The fourth one: how are we holding our grace under pressure? How willing are we that we can walk into a path where maybe it's complete darkness and maybe nobody has gone before? I mean, whether it's the different kinds of research that's happening, or even at your and my level, maybe even the fact that kids are in the same space, or maybe that I'm not able to land the right opportunity, or maybe it's, I have no clue how my life is going to look like, how my relationships are going to look like. Lot has changed, right? I mean, although I can mean it in a lighter vein, it's not in a lighter vein. Even dating or anything, especially if those of you who are youngsters are watching this, you know that there are a lot of things which unknowingly could create a huge pressure in us. But then, how do I deal with that, and how much grace do I show in that circumstance is totally up to me, right? Like, it's totally my choice. So, because that's what is something that will build our own resilience, and that's what also will maintain that collective positive vibe that all of us, keep talking about. Yes, positive may not be a great word today anymore, but being positive will never go out of fashion. So that's the fourth principle. Fifth one: